reminded you'll see me through. My confidence is in you, Lord. I'm not gonna worry, it'll all work out when I'm in your presence. I'm reminded you'll see me through. 'Cause you're holy and you're perfect, and there's nothing that you can do. And you're able, and you're willing. There's no mountain that you can move. My confidence is in you, Lord. I'm not gonna worry, it'll all work out when I'm in your presence. I'm reminded you see me through. Yeah, you're holy, 'cause you're holy and you're perfect, and there's nothing that you can do. And you're able, and you're willing, and there's no mountain that you can move. So I'll rest in you, I'll trust in you. You are my strength and my confidence. I'll rest in you, I'll trust in you. You are my strength and my confidence. are my strength and my confidence. I'll rest in you, I'll trust in you. You are my strength and my confidence. I'll rest in you, my confidence. I'll trust in you, my confidence.
Hi everyone, Merry Christmas to your family. We want to let you know about some things coming up at the house, and especially 4 ways for you to be a part of this church community. The first way is through Next Steps. If you're new or newer here, Next Steps is our process to help you become part of the community here at the house. We have 3 steps through our Next Steps process. Step 1 is our open house lunch, and that's a time for you to have lunch with some of our team. Step 2 is Mission and Vision, where we go over the mission, vision, and where we're going as a church community. And lastly, Step 3, the house is my home. And here you get to make the house officially your home church. We're offering Step 1 today, right after service, is open house lunch. Now, if you didn't RSVP, don't tell them I told you this, but you can still attend. Just go ahead and sneak in the library, let one of our leaders know that you're there, and we would love to host you and get to meet you. The second way to be part of our church community is through groups. Groups exist to help you grow and develop deeper community here at the house. Our next Connect Group season begins February of 2024, so go ahead and save that month, prepare for that. It's going to be an incredible time to really develop that deeper community. The third way to be a part of our community is through events. Events are our one-time experience to help inspire and encourage our church community. We wanted to let you know that Christmas Eve we'll be having 2 separate services. We'll have a 10 a.m. Christmas Eve service, and at 4 p.m. we'll have a candlelight family service. You can go ahead and invite your friends and family to these very special services that we will be hosting at our church. The fourth way to be a part of our church community is through classes. Classes exist to help you learn biblical principles to grow your faith. I'm excited to announce that come January 10th, for 4 Wednesdays, we're going to be going over the Gospels with Pastor Dana. You can go ahead and RSVP online under our Coming Soon page. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be amazing. We hope that you're enjoying this whole series as we're doing Sabbath, a Christmas of rest. As you can see, there's many ways that we are trying to not only inspire, but to create moments and opportunities to help you grow in your faith. So we hope that all of these things that we're doing are inspiring and encouraging you. We love you. We'll see you guys next week.
Hey, welcome to the house. My name is Wes. My wife Vanessa and I, we are the pastors here, and wherever you're watching from, we just want to say welcome home. There was a time during COVID when we were only online where we would always ask people, hey, where are you tuning in from? And we'd always have people from Texas and Georgia and Florida and New York and Washington. Those were like our big states that we always had people watching from. But literally during the course of the time, we had people from every single state tuning in. It was wild and it was awesome. So wherever you're watching from, just want to say thanks for checking us out. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing with friends, all of that. Especially if you're here in Southern California and you'd like to join us for a live in-person service, we'd love to meet you, share a cup of coffee, hear your story. You can check out thehousela.org for all of our service time, directions. We even have a walkthrough for what a typical service looks like, but we would love to see you. You got to come check it out, especially today being Christmas Eve. If you're watching this on Christmas Eve, just know this, that tonight at 4 o'clock that we are having a candlelight service and we would love to see you there. So do not miss church. Come check it out. And we would love to see you there. All right, today we're continuing on this series called Sabbath, the Christmas of Rest. And we're talking about Sabbath, the Christmas of rest, because for many people, the time of Christmas is not a time that's restful. It's anxiety filled. It's stressful. You're getting all of your end of the year quotas in. You're trying to get the sale in this quarter so it can be reflected in Q1. You're trying to get your end of the year email list done and all of the work stuff. Oh, and by the way, if you have children, they've got school plays, they've got school Christmas parties. Oh, by the way, you have to bring some stuff with you to that thing. You've got a white elephant gift. You've got an ugly Christmas party. Even as I'm saying this, my own anxiety is going up like this. For many people, this time where we're supposed to be celebrating the Prince of Peace, the giver of life, it's actually filled with a lot of anxiety. For most people, when we talk about the word Sabbath, if you're here in LA, you think of maybe some of your neighbors or maybe even you yourself, and Friday nights and lighting a candle of remembrance and observe, and you're sharing a meal with people. One time I was on a run on a Friday and I was running down the street and this lady goes, "Hey, excuse me, sir." She goes, "Are you Jewish?" And if you know me, my father actually is Jewish, but my mom is not. So to the Jewish community, I'm not, but to everyone else, I am. And so I'm trying to explain it to her, and really all she was asking me is if I could come turn off her stove because that was considered working, and at that point the sun had just set. And so she was looking for someone to go do the work for her. For some people, that Shabbat, that Sabbath is kind of that thing. For other people now, they think about Sabbath as going to church on a Sunday. That's that moment where they just pause and they reflect on the Lord. And what it turns into for a lot of people, it turns into just one more chore in the middle of their day. Just I go to wake up, I'm up late on a Saturday, and I early morning on Sunday, and then I'm tired. I show up to church, I'm wiping the sleep from my eyes, have a coffee in the lobby, hey, good to see you. And then afterwards, we got a baseball game, and then we go grocery shopping, we go do this, we go do that. And it's like, it's not really that moment to pause, to stop, to rest, to delight in God, and to worship. Eugene Peterson calls that day off that we just fill with stuff, he actually calls it a bastard Sabbath. When we come into God's presence and when we come into God's house, when we're living that kind of a life, we don't really have much to offer because we have already expended it all. And the worship leader's like, "Come on, church, let's worship God." And you're like, "Man, I don't have much else to give because I've expended all of my energy on all of these other things." Now for us, and just as kind of the pastoral side note, when we're talking about Sabbath, for some people it's a 24-hour period, but maybe if you're just starting out on this journey, it's like, okay, just start out with 1 hour. Just start with this 1 hour week of this is that 1 hour I'm going to set aside for the Lord. For some, it might be a half a day. Just here's that time that I'm going to set aside for the Lord, but it's time that's set aside to stop, to rest, to delight, and to worship. When we really stop, rest, and delight, it will lead us to worship. Genesis chapter 2 has been kind of one of the key verses that we've been going through on this series of Sabbath, the Christmas of rest. And it goes back to the origins of Sabbath, when God created the heavens and the earth, and he sits back and he goes, "Wow, that is good." He actually says at the end of every day, "It's good, it's good, it's good." He creates man and woman. He goes, "It's very good. That is amazing." And then on the Sabbath day, on the seventh day, he rests from all of his work. Genesis chapter 2 gives us the recording of that. It says this, "So the creation of the heavens and the earth and everything in them was completed. On the seventh day, God had finished his work of creation, so he rested from all of his work. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy because it was the day that he rested from all of his work of creation." So he did two things. He blessed that seventh day and he declared it holy. Blessed, we talked about last week, it's Barak. And the other thing is he made it holy, which is the Hebrew word of kadash. Unique, special, or uncommon. Set aside for special purposes. Something that's not just kind of thrown about, but something that actually has value. Now in our house, we have all different types of coffee cups. I don't know how this happened, but somewhere along the line, we've got coffee cups and some of them have chips in them and some of them I've still kept them. One of them, someone a couple of years ago, a friend of ours, Stephanie, she got me a coffee mug that had a big W on it, and she got Vanessa this really cute dainty one with a V on it. And the cute dainty one, it just took one little drop in the kitchen sink and it smashed into 1,000 pieces. So we have just a coffee cup that says W and no coffee cup that says V. We've got these 2 IKEA mugs that actually I tell the story in an upcoming book. I tell the story about those 2 IKEA mugs. And then we've got all these other ones. And then there's special ones that when we have friends coming over, we bring out, oh, that's the matching set without chips in them. That's the special set. That's the one that, we don't just let the kids, do their watercolors. And those ones, it's a complete set without chips. Those ones are set aside. When God blesses the Sabbath day and he made it holy, he says, this is special. This is something that is set aside. Exodus chapter 16, verse 23 says, it talks about the stories that when they're still learning the Sabbath, they're still learning about these days. And God says it's a holy Sabbath to the Lord. And during the time while they're still learning the Sabbath, he says, okay, you're going to gather some manna for all these 6 days. And on the 6th day, you're going to gather double because on the 7th day, there's going to be none. And people were still trying to learn the Sabbath and they go out on that 7th day to try and go collect manna. And there was no manna. God's like, dude, I told you guys that this day was something that was set aside. So even as you were on your own Sabbath journey, whether it's an hour, an afternoon, or a full day, you may find a couple of those moments where you're like, oh, I forgot that at 4 o'clock I was going to turn my phone off. I forgot that at 6 p.m. Saturday till noon on Sunday, I was just going to only listen to worship music. And I was going to set that time aside. Oh man, it's 10 o'clock and I'm listening to Drake. What am I going to do? It's like I had those things. And if you're experiencing some bumps in that road of creating a Sabbath rhythm or just a pause in your week, you're not alone. God's people, when he instituted the Sabbath in their life, they had a difficult time getting this in their rhythm. And he says, hey, this is a day that's set apart for the Lord. It's a time of worship. Worship means lots of things. It can be worship of singing, like orienting our life around God, telling God, you are amazing. I love, we don't do worship for online. Sometimes we'll do like a little worship recording, but in service on Sundays, it is powerful. That's why I'm always encouraging you. If you're in LA, you got to come to service as we worship God with song and the band is playing, and whether it's Michelle or Jordan, any of our team, they're leading us in worship. It is powerful. It's one of the most amazing things. But that is one of the ways that we worship God. Another way is we give of our time. We have volunteering and we're serving in our community. We're serving in our church. We're serving outside of our church. Another way is giving of our resources. When we talk about giving at thehousela.org/give and we talk about the end of the year gifts and we talk about all of that, that is an act of worship to God. How about giving ourselves to prayer and that communion and connection with God? Giving our will to God, saying, Jesus, not my will, your will be done. Receiving communion together. All of these are ways for us to worship. When we worship, we're not just delighting our soul, but we're actually delighting in God. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel says this, unless one learns how to relish the taste of Sabbath while still in this world, unless you learn how to really celebrate these moments, unless one is initiated into the appreciation of eternal life, one will be unable to enjoy the taste of eternity in the world to come. This is his argument, is the essence of the world to come is Sabbath eternal. It's that time of connecting with God in delight and worship. And the 7th day is a time of, it's an example of eternity. So there's that progression of stop, rest, delight, and worship. And if you really stop and you rest and you delight in God and you take your attention towards God, it's going to lead you to this place where you go, I got to worship. I've got to lift my hands and sing. I've got to lift my voice and sing. I've got to go serve others and give of tithes and offerings. I've got to go and worship. You may ask, what does this have to do with Christmas? All this whole series of Christmas and Sabbath and a Christmas of rest. In Matthew chapter 2, tells us the story of the 3 wise men. Jesus is born in Bethlehem in Judea during the reign of King Herod. About that time, there was wise men from the eastern lands. They arrived in Jerusalem asking, where is the newborn king born, King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we've come to worship him. King Herod, he's deeply disturbed when he saw this, and everyone else in Jerusalem, because they knew that King Herod's crazy. So he calls a meeting the leading priests. Hey, where's the Messiah supposed to be born? And they say, in Bethlehem. That's where the prophet wrote, Bethlehem, the land of Judah, you are not least of the ruling cities of Judah, for a ruler will come from you who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod called for a private meeting of the wise men. He goes, hey, just tell me on your way back, tell me where you found him and I'll come worship him. But really he had a meaning to go and try and kill Jesus. After this interview, verse number 9, the wise men went their way, and the star that they'd seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them, and it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with great joy. They entered the house where they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and they worshiped him. They opened up their treasure chests, and they gave him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Christmas is not about the hustle and bustle and going all over the place. Christmas is about worship. Christmas is about reorienting our life around the King of all kings. It's about shepherds and kings pausing their life and pausing their day to go, wait a minute, something and someone is greater who is here, who is worthy of us pausing and stopping everything, and we're going to worship him with our songs, we're going to worship him with our gifts, we're going to worship him by traveling to where he is at, where we echo the Sabbath prayer that many Jews still pray today. They say, blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe. Sabbath leads us to worship. And like those wise men and like the shepherds, we still come bowing, worshiping, offering our gifts to that great King. Everyone worships something. What do you worship? Is it power, authority, money, fame? If you're wise, you'll do what the wise men did. You'll worship the King. In our live service today, we're actually going to sing the song of O Come All Ye Faithful, which has that such a strong verse in there of O come, let us adore him. O come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. When we stop, when we rest, when we delight, it leads us to that place that the wise men themselves were in. No matter their position, no matter their status. And they say, we must worship Christ the Lord. Let's pray. Jesus, thank you for all my friends watching this today. And I'm praying, God, for anyone who has not yet worshiped the King of Kings with their life. I'm praying that today would be a day that they say, Jesus, come into my life. And maybe if you're watching this right now, today could be the most special Christmas Eve you've ever had, because you will give your life to Jesus today. So you can pray this after me. Say, Jesus, come into my life. I want to follow you. I give my life to you. I am yours and you are mine. In Jesus' name, amen. Friends, hey, if you just prayed that prayer for the very first time, we would love to get to know you. We'd love to walk with you in this journey of following Jesus in this life called just that we're living in this relationship with God. And we would love to be on that journey with you. So you got to check out thehousela.org. Find us for a live in-person service. And we would love to help you on in that journey of following Jesus. If you're here in LA, remember tonight we have a candlelight Christmas service at 4 p.m. We'd love to see you there. Lastly, I want to say a big thank you to those of you who've already joined us in that journey of generosity. We cannot do this and our other multimedia things that we have planned for the future and other ministry stuff that we have planned as a church. We cannot do this without God's blessing and without your help. I know that many nonprofits at the end of the year, they reach out to the people and they say, hey, we need your help to make this happen. And I'm just joining that group of people to say, hey, would you consider us for a very generous year-end gift, a very generous worshipful gift to the King of Kings through this local church. If you'd like to join us in that journey, you can check out thehousela.org/give. We'll throw the link for you up on the bottom of the screen. And we would just be so honored to be your recipient of generosity. We cannot do what we do if it was not for God's blessing, but also if it was not for your help and your partnership with us in that. Hey, can't wait to see you back next week here at the house.